Hey, morning everybody. Welcome to SheppardDevos. It's Sean, and it's good to be with you again. And hope you're ready to have a great week and go out there and serve Jesus with our heart, soul, and mind. And that's the plan, Stan. So let's get to it. Hey, this morning the song of the day was by Hillsong United, and that's called "Take All of Me." That is off of the More Than Life Hillsong United CD. Probably one of my very favorite worship CDs out there, just crushing, just great stuff throughout. You know, this weekend I was on a long road trip, both Sunday and Monday, and had an opportunity to listen to some great teaching, and really was challenged just challenged significantly at a lot of different areas. But today we're going to talk a little bit about discipleship, and this is what got me thinking on this. One of my favorite teachers is a guy by the name of Mark Driscoll. You can search him on iTunes under Mars Hill Church, or search Mark Driscoll, Driscoll. Got some great, very strong teaching, and he was talking about this issue of discipleship. And in the song that we listened to, you know, it goes off and just a wonderful lyric that we all love to sing. It says that I love you and all of my hope is in you. Jesus Christ, take my life, take all of me. You know, and I have sung that before, and I sing it with my whole heart and with passion. But you know, I tell you what, sometimes we go back to this biblical concept of what it really means to follow Christ and what it can mean to follow Christ. You know, it puts a whole different spin on it, because it's so easy, right, to sing about love for Him. But when that love gets tough, when that love begins to cost, it sort of seems like sometimes our love can falter. So we're going to look in the chapter, in Luke rather, chapter 14 today. And starting in Luke 14, verse 27, this is Jesus' words. And he said, and whoever does not bear his cross and come after me cannot be my disciple. And earlier on in verse 26, if anyone comes to me and does not hate his father and mother, wife and children, brothers and sisters, yes, even his own life, he cannot be my disciple. And we understand that the idea behind that is obviously not that we hate them, but that we see that our relationship with God and our love for God is on a whole completely different level than the love for even family, for those familial relationships. And sometimes we get into our day-to-day, and again, we've got a beautiful worship chorus that talks to us about, God, I lay my life down for you. And but when the going gets tough, all of a sudden that love can become difficult, right? We've seen that. If we've not seen it ourselves, we've seen it in friends and other people and the rest. And you know, I thought about this whole idea of, if our love for God is built upon an idea or an ideal that it will never require sacrifice, well, then it's like this kind of love. A love that says, I love you as long as you give me what I want, right? But if you don't give me what I want, I'll stop loving you. Now, who of us is going to sign up for that kind of love, right? You go into a marriage relationship, you're doing your vows, and you know, it comes down to yes, and by the way, I will love you as long as you'll continue to give me what I want. But the minute that it gets hard, it's going to change. None of us are going to sign up for that, but sometimes that really is a reality of the way our relationship sometimes works with God. And in Luke, we see that Jesus, you know, is very clear. And I read a tiny section of Scripture. Really, please go back and review Luke 14, 25 through like 34. Look at this issue of what it means to be a disciple of Christ. Because that's a whole different deal than just the person that's walked the aisle and said the prayer. You know, the way Mark Driscoll puts on his teaching, you know, he talked about, he said so many people are, you know, he said it's one thing to be into having a wedding. It's another thing to be into, you know, seeing a marriage work. And that's what it's like for those of us that come to Christ. We walk the aisle. It's been a no-cost, low-cost type of deal. We're like that person that loves the idea of a wedding but can't handle the idea of a marriage. Can you see the difference there? How discipleship and coming to Christ are two almost separate things. They're related, but we can't just stop at the salvation place. So I guess, excuse me, the encouragement for the day is going to be, let's take another look at the way that we understand our love for Him. Because here's the things, guys. If we buy into this idea and we live our life in such a way to where any cost that comes, any difficulties in our walk with Christ, when those things come up and our faith starts to crash and we want to turn tail and run, that's not what Jesus called us to. He said, listen, if you want to follow me, it may mean that you're going to have to take up your cross. Well, what does that mean? Well, back at that time, taking up your cross meant that you were headed to the hill to be crucified. And Jesus is trying to say, listen, if you're really going to follow me, if you're going to be like me, understand that you may have to suffer some of the things that I have had to suffer. And it may not be a wooden plank on our back. Excuse me, but it may be issues where, you know what, sometimes standing up for your faith and doing the right thing may cost you something at work. It may cost you something with family. Sometimes following Christ may cause you to have to put aside some of the things that you used to like to do because you know that they were not honoring God. And sometimes when your feelings get hurt, sometimes when someone hurts you in the church, you know what? Don't turn tail and run on Christ. Allow our love to be deeper and greater and stronger than that. That we should be people that continue on, and we want to be those actual disciples, not just people that love the idea of a wedding, but can't handle the idea of a marriage. Our discipleship is something that takes work. So anyway, hey, bless you today. This week, let's go out and be disciples of Christ. Let's not love him just in word. And it doesn't mean we've got to go out there and look for ways to suffer. Don't miss the point. But the point is, allow us to be those types of people. You know what? Let us do the thing that is right. Let us stand up. Let us love. Let us be willing to sacrifice our own life day in and day out for the cause of Christ. Doesn't it seem bizarre that it's so easy for us to just sort of quit, to just sort of go the easy way? When we turn around and we look at him, and think that he walked the hill. He walked the hill for us, carrying that cross. Pretty strong statement. Well, hey, bless you all. Have a good day.